Hi, honeys. It's Michelle and Brad, and we're here to do a Q&A with you. My friend Kristen actually recommended if we want to do a Q&A to answer some questions from a list that she found online, so we decided to answer some of those. And be sure to stay tuned because at the end of the video, I will show a giveaway that I'm doing, and I'll explain how to enter and all that. So question 1 is, given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? It doesn't say whether they have to be living or not, so I guess just whichever you prefer, or if you want to say living and somebody who's passed away.
So for deceased, I would choose Nikola Tesla. He was an inventor, born in Croatia, so based on the politics of the time, it would be a Serbian. He moved to New York City and held hundreds of patents. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things that Thomas Edison gets credit for, Tesla was the actual inventor for. He had a way of looking at nature and physics that even elicited a response from Albert Einstein to say that Tesla was the smartest man in the world. Tesla was an altruist. He invented a lot of things just for the sake of advancing humanity. And that's part of a reason why Elon Musk claims that Tesla Motor, or now it's just Tesla, was named for Nikola Tesla. A couple of the things that Tesla invented that are still notably affecting our lives today is AC electricity, which is what all the power lines are running off of, and when you plug into your outlet, that's AC electricity. That was Nikola Tesla. Edison came up with DC electricity, which is like your car batteries, the batteries in your small handheld devices. Tesla also advanced a lot of the theories about electricity. There are a few patents that he has that have yet to be able to be replicated. That's how advanced some of his prototypes were a century ago. One of them would be technically free energy via the Tesla coil, which is a fascinating invention in and of itself. There's a very small version, is those crystal balls with a little electric in it, that when you touch it, it tracks to your hand. That's a very small, simplified version of a Tesla coil. So just because of his altruism and the brilliant mind that even the greatest inventors of the time gave credence to, he would be my choice for a deceased person I would love to have dinner with. You want to do your deceased?
Sure. My deceased is Frida Kahlo. I just love her, and I find her very inspiring in a number of ways. As far as her artwork goes, and her not willing to put up with things, and her pushing through, working anyway, even if I don't feel good. She certainly did that, and I really admire her. What about alive?
I don't know if anybody alive is inspiring me right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few people I think would be interesting to meet, but even then though, I don't know that I would really want to meet them. Like, I don't know what I would say.
I guess if I had to choose one, it would probably be Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters and Nirvana fame.
Yeah.
One, I love the lyrics on a lot of his music, especially the 90s and early 2000s. Secondly, he seems to have, oh no, you know who? Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, ooh, we love him.
Yes.
That'd be a cool person to spend the day with.
Yes, he had. Keanu Reeves has one, an amazing work ethic that nobody will ever say otherwise about him. Two, he has the tendency to have that aura of knowing something the rest of us don't, and not in a cocky way, but in an enlightened way, like a Buddhist monk.
Absolutely. Would you like to be famous? In what way? Would you like to be famous, Bradley?
I think I'd handle it fine. I don't pursue fame. I'm not very extroverted, so fame might not be my cup of tea to suit my personality. But if I were to be famous, it would probably be for something like a political treatise, authoring something that kind of changes the perspectives of people around the world. And I don't mean, in a current Republican versus Democrat type of way, but more of a civil / philosophical way of governance.
I don't want to be famous. I've never wanted to be famous. I just think it's you give up too much. I feel like I would have to give up everything. I couldn't go to the Goodwill and go shopping anymore, or I couldn't go to the grocery store anymore. I think a lot of famous people, well, really, it doesn't matter in what way you're famous. If you're actually famous, you give up all that. The thought of having to give up so much, it just doesn't sound. The other thing is, it seems kind of creepy. I'll never forget, I was watching this interview with a famous musician. Hi, Marty. With this famous musician, and he was talking about how it just gets real creepy once you hit a certain level of fame. He said that he threw a wrapper away from a candy bar, and as he was walking away, he heard noise behind him. He turned around and looked, and a fan had run and was like digging to get the wrapper out of the trash. And I don't want anyone to keep my wrappers. You know what I mean? It just seems a little bit too much.
It kind of reminds me of a hockey player story. So in hockey, one of the teams is the Tampa Bay Lightning, and one of the star players is Steven Stamkos on that team. Now, he was offered the huge markets, New York Rangers, Toronto Maple Leafs, and he ended up deciding to stay with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And one of his reasonings was that it's a smaller market, so he has less fame, so he can go out and do normal things a lot more than he would in a hockey crazy city like Toronto.
Yeah. You're just thinking of all that you have to, even now I feel like you have to be so careful about what you say and what you do, and that's when you're not famous. But there's Martin. I'll scoot this just for a second so you can see Martin. Okay. So I don't think it'd be worth it. I'd rather be rich and not famous. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say and why?
When it's a work call, almost always, because my words with some of the people I deal with could have legal or contractual obligations or repercussions. So I make sure to word things as non-obligatory as possible when I'm on the phone with people I have contracts with on behalf of my company. And I always rehearse when I'm calling, say a credit card or some other financial institution I'm doing business with. It's just so I can knock everything out succinctly and as confidently as possible.
I do it all the time, and I do it all the time, but I don't know that it always works out the best for me, because especially if I'm angry at someone, I'll try to think about what I'm going to say before I call. And I do, and I say what I want to say, but the problem is I still offend people. I'm just a very aggressive and direct person, especially when I'm mad. I'm quite the pit bull, really. So I have to figure out how to but it's not always possible. Just stop calling people at all when I'm upset.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've got a little better about that, but definitely not perfect at it.
Definitely.
Especially at work, I'll be mad at someone, and the job I have, I'm able to be a little bit more direct about what I think. And so if I'm upset with someone, I won't necessarily call them because I know that I'm going to explode. But when they call me, an explosion happens. So,
Skip the next one.
okay.
I hate those
Okay,
kind of
good.
questions.
Yeah, I don't like those either. What do you mean the perfect day? Like,
That could be anything.
in which context? If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
Body. And I would choose the body.
Me too.
Yeah. I would choose the body because at 30 compared to 90, the body metabolizes much better, which means you get a lot more efficient extraction of nutrition, which means you could, by extension, make your brain more durable to the effects of aging.
It's exactly what I was thinking. And plus, I mean, once you hit 40, as we're learning, it really starts to go downhill from there with your body. It's like, I mean, the thought of being able to avoid that, like, who cares? I mean, not that you don't care about your mind, but gosh, being able to walk around without being in pain, a 30-year-old again? Oh, yeah, that sounds very and I don't care about the looks part of it. I'm talking about the body.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or when I didn't have to warm up for 5 minutes in the morning just to get my knees to work.
Right. And we were both in much better shape when we were 30. We had better bodies. I had a cute body when I was 30. So did you. Okay. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
How? No. I am under the impression from multiple dreams and a palm reading that I am going to die in the autumn of 2042. And it will be sudden. So, but I've never had any glimpse as to, is it a car accident, is it a skydiving accident, is it a heart attack, is it just peacefully in my sleep? But I've always had it in my head since I was a teenager that I'm going to die in 2042. So I guess I got 22 years ago.
Okay, I've always had the feeling, if you, I'm sorry, you're just too cute. If you've ever watched the movie The Stand, there's the old lady on the rocking chair and everybody's kind of passing her by, and she's kind of there. I think she's knitting or crocheting or something. I always had the feeling that that would be me. I've always had the feeling, no, this is crazy that you say that, because I've always had the feeling that I would be a widow for quite a while towards the end of my life. Just if you do go in 42, if I live a long life, that's a long time for me to be alone. So and I think that's part of why I like the Golden Girls. I've always had this thought that I probably would end up in a situation like that at some point. I already have the friends that we're planning on doing that one day if we get to that point, which is terrible. But me and some of my friends made a pact in our 20s that if we ever were in that situation, we'd just buy a 4 or 5 bedroom house and all live in it together. But I've always had the feeling since I was very young that I was going to die in a car accident. So I'm scared to have other people drive. Brad can attest to that. Quite the backseat driver, but I'm not ready to go yet, and I think that's how I'm going. Now, is it true? I don't know. Obviously, we won't know until it happens, but I've always thought I was going to live to be a very, very old age, which, looking at my family tree, doing genealogy, that's probably a pretty fair assessment. I have a lot of people who have lived into their 90s in my family. So I guess we'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, my family, it's late 70s, early 80s is usually when they die.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's 52 and not 42. Give me a little more time with you.
I'm getting worn out on the torture.
No, stop it. That's what I tell them all the time. Well, you can't leave me because I'm not done torturing you yet. For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
Michelle coming into my life at the time I needed her the most.
My answer was the same,
Oh.
except instead of me coming into my life, because I've always been there, I meant you coming into my life.
Yeah, I was pretty down on myself and hating the world when she came along, and because of the way she has this way of inspiring people. I don't know if it's active or a passive ability, but she tends to make people want to be better. So, what do you make your faces?
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't see myself that way.
Of course you don't.
Anyway, go ahead.
So she helped me, one, get out of the emotional hole I dug for myself, and she kind of pushed me to be a better person throughout my 30s and now my early 40s.
Thank you.
I mean, you don't do it in the nicest way sometimes, but the truth is still there.
Oh. I am my father's daughter. I'm not always nice.
No,
Sorry, if you know my dad, he's
intense
yeah.
when he wants to get a point across, and I understand it.
It was weird because before I met Brad, I'm trying to think of how to describe this. I always felt like there was something missing in my life, and I didn't know what it was. And so I found myself missing someone pretty much every day of my life, but not knowing who or why or anything. Excuse me. And so the night that we met, I informed him that he was going to come sit and talk to me.
Informed is a very nice way to put it.
Kind of demanded it.
She,
It was like
she yelled down the bar. I was probably 40 feet away,
yeah.
talking to somebody else.
Sorry, I'm laughing so hard that I'm crying.
Talking to the bartender the manager who I was friends with, and she decided to interrupt our conversation from the other end of the bar.
I don't remember that part, but
Of course you don't.
so convenient.
Yes, I was doing shots of Jaeger with Georgie,
And I interrupted you.
and you just yelled down the bar, "Hey, you come over here and sit with me." Now, I'd known Georgie for a year, so it's, and her just sitting at the end of the bar, and I remember you were wearing those black and white 50 looking shoes.
Mm-hmm. Saddle shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like what a female would wear with the poodle dresses.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's like a bluish or gray blue sweater. I don't remember the pants though.
Probably wearing jeans.
And her hair was kind of like a dark red.
Actually, it was black back then.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm not to interrupt, correct you, but yeah, it was. I didn't dye it red until after that.
Oh.
My hair was straight black, jet black when we met. And it
Oh
was
yeah,
long.
that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I had gone home for my dad's birthday, and so I had just been with all my family, and I grew up in a military town, and I felt very comfortable around people in the military. And the part of Florida that I lived in at the time really didn't have any military people in it. And I just used to get so homesick there. And I was going to college. I had just gone through a divorce, and about a year before I met Brad. Was it a year and a half? I don't know. It was a while before.
I don't know the timeline of your marriages.
I think it was a year and a half before I met Brad. I went through a divorce, and anyway, so I had flown home, and I could not fall back asleep. I had, jet lag a little bit, and I was friends with the bartender at the bar, and she's like, "It's a slow night. Come down here. I'm bored." So I went down to have a few drinks, and I looked over and I saw this guy that, now at the time his hair was a little bit different, but he screamed Marine to me. Now I didn't know that he had been a Marine, but he just screamed that he was, and I thought, somebody from the, somebody like a veteran. I'm going to feel so much more comfortable talking to him. I just want to feel like I'm back at home for a minute. So that's why I told him to come talk to me. But when he came over, he looked down at me, as he was starting to sit down. And when he looked into my eyes, every ounce of me, every ounce of my being just screamed, "It's you." And it's so funny because we had this wonderful philosophical, spiritual, political talk that night. It was so mentally stimulating, which that's how that's what really excites me. When I was single, men that were mentally stimulating, which is very hard to find. Not that men aren't smart, but just when you're single, it's so hard to find people who are fun to talk to, especially when you're sitting in a bar, right?
And that bar was a meat market.
It was. There was all these guys at that end of the bar. And so when I said it, a bunch of guys turned and looked, and it was like, no, you, like Brad. Although I didn't know his name. But anyway, it just felt like I already knew him. And ever since that night, I have never felt like I missed whatever it was I was missing before. I think it was Brad that I was missing. It was like that extra little puzzle piece in life that just wasn't there. So because of that, I find him to be very inspiring. And I feel like I've been able to be myself in ways that I never have been able to be before I met him. And he really taught me how to not care what other people think. Because when we met, I really did. And he has really taught me how to not give up on myself. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be talking to you right now. I would have quit YouTube a month or two in if I wasn't successful right away. There's been so many times where he's had to talk me off the ledge from quitting because I felt like my growth on here was just too slow and I was comparing myself to other people who were getting so successful so fast. And it's been a rough ride just getting where I am. And now that I'm at the 1,000 subscribers, I feel like I'm really getting more into the game, so to speak. But now I don't think I would quit, but it's been really hard to stick it out with that. And it's always Brad that keeps me going with things and motivates me. And so I guess we have the same effect on each other. We both make each other want to be better. And you're my best friend. You're the only person I feel comfortable saying anything to, which is just crazy. Like, even if I don't agree with you, I will just tell you what I think about stuff, which usually it's hard to do that with people, especially in today's culture. But anyway, so he's the person that I'm the most grateful for in my life. And I know we've talked about this before. We're both very grateful that we didn't come into each other's lives any earlier than we did, because we wouldn't have been ready for each other yet.
True.
But okay, if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be?
The one that I would want would be the ability to sing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That is the one thing that I have never been able to do, no matter how much I worked at it. And so I won't even sing by myself anymore. But it's I've always wanted to entertain people or inspire people, I guess. And in my case, it would be like a rock nightclub that everybody's jumping and the band's thrashing. I always wanted to be that guy on the stage. But I just never had the voice talent, and my music talent for instruments is nothing to be excited about. So yeah, I guess to be more musically adept.
Right, I'm supposed to answer this now, aren't I? I would really like to have the ability to write. I don't think I'm very good at wording things eloquently. Half the time I do a lot of paintings, not so much lately. I do plan on starting up painting again, but I'm just trying to get certain things situated a little bit first. But when I do paintings, the description of the painting, Brad always writes it. I don't write it. I tell him what it means and why I painted it, and then he does it for me, because he's so good at writing things and putting things into words in such a beautiful way. And to me, like if I could write novels or just whatever, I mean, that'd be such a gift. It's such a beautiful thing, not just to be able to do, but to share with other people. I think that's why I admire authors so much, is it's just such a talent to be able to word things in an eloquent, beautiful way. So that would be my thing. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
This might sound a little materialistic, but I have a more benevolent reason for it. I would like to know who the next Tesla or Microsoft or Apple is going to be. Get in at the ground floor and it just grows by double-digit percentages every year forever. So that would what the one piece of information I would know. It's simply, it's not for the sake of being wealthy. It's for having money as a tool to do the things I want to do, much of which includes charity.
Yeah. I don't think, I mean, that sounds nice, something like that, but I don't think that I would, as far as like the truth about myself, which I like to think I know, but the future or anything, I don't know that I would want to like know the future or anything. I've always thought I did, but now I'm starting to wonder with the way that the world is going, do I really want to know? Okay, what do you value most in a friendship?
Blunt honesty.
Oh, that's why you like me.
To me, the quality alpha A+ friend is the one that will call you out when you're wrong. I'm not a big fan of cheerleader fans if the cheerleading is simply because you're friends. I have no problem with high fives, fist bumps, and all that stuff, and congratulations when it's earned. But people mess up, and I like to be called out on it when it's justified. So a bluntly honest friend has all the value in the world to me.
Yeah, I think for me, it would be somebody who's open-minded, which is kind of the same thing, really, as what you're saying, in the sense that if I'm going to be close friends with somebody, I need them to hear what I really think or what I really feel without getting so offended. Because I feel like, especially now, if people hear anything they don't agree with, that's it. You're canceled, you're done. I don't want you in my life anymore. We're not friends anymore. Oh, you didn't vote for the same person I did? We're done. It's like, I don't like that. So I really want, if I'm going to be friends with someone, I want them to love me whether I vote the same way they do, or whether I cook the same way they do, or clean my kitchen the same way they do, or whatever. I want them to still love me anyway, and because I do that for them.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living, and why?
I don't have much of a bucket list. I had a very adventurous 20s, so I got a lot of things out of my system. So I would probably just work myself to death for the sake of giving her some financial cushion for the aftermath.
Oh. It's weird because I think, okay, if I knew in a year I would die suddenly, I tend to assume that you would be going with me. I don't know why. I guess it's because and we could very well be wrong, but we've always thought that I would live longer than him. But what if I don't, right? So I've always assumed if it was sudden that he'd be with me. But because of that, if you were with me, I don't think I would worry as much about the future. So I wouldn't save money. I don't think that I would pay a lot of bills. I wouldn't care about my credit if I knew I was just suddenly going to die in a year and you were going with me. I would be more willing to, sell everything I have to just go on a fun vacation together one last time, that kind of thing. All right, so share an embarrassing moment in your life.
So this was about 7-8 years ago, and we were at our local watering hole with a bunch of our friends, and I had a horrible day at work, and so I believe I was meeting you at the bar. You were already there, if I recall correctly.
That sounds accurate.
And some guy was talking to her, and I kind of lost my mind about it because he seemed to be snuggling up to her. I know you said,
I still don't think he was hitting on me, but
yeah. So I kind of interrupted the conversation, and he said something a little dismissive to me. And back then, I had a lot more testosterone going, and I kind of lost my mind a lot. And 3 of my friends had to drag me away from the interaction, so they dragged me into the bathroom. And in the bathroom, I proceeded to tear off the paper towel dispenser from a concrete wall.
yeah, it was in the concrete, and somehow he ripped
Anchored.
it. Right, he ripped it out of the wall.
Yep. So, and because of that night, I lost 2 friends. But yeah, I lost 2 friends over that, especially since we were all regulars there. So it was just kind of really weird going back there afterward, after I ruined the.
Yeah. The owner of the bar didn't care. They thought it was funny.
Dadia thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, but.
And she said they were going to replace it soon anyway, so I guess I just kind of expedited the process.
Right. But yeah, so I guess the reason that these 2 guys didn't want to be your friend anymore is when Brad gets mad, he can get a little scary.
A lot.
Yeah. We both have really bad tempers when we get upset.
Well, I have some Greco-Roman judo and Shorin-ryu training.
Right.
So when I get mad and I don't know if I could do any of that stuff anymore, but back then,
when you were younger, yeah.
Yeah. So between those 3 fighting styles and back when I was in somewhat of a shape, I had a lot more training and than most people who I would interact with in a bar.
Right. So yeah, I guess they found it scary.
So, yep, I lost 2 friends over that, and I kind of made an ass in front of pretty much my entire social circle and the people I've known for years that worked at that bar.
When I want to say I was 17, I was a dancer. I was in ballet, and I was in Romeo and Juliet, and I was with my dance partner, and he, I did like a little pirouette turn thing, and he went this way, and I went to go run towards him, and you do, an arabesque, and when I landed, the twins popped out of the top of my costume, and the entire audience, which was about 1,000 people, saw everything. And to add to the fun, when I was doing it, the male dancers were all standing in a line, and so my partner saw, and so did some of the other guys, and apparently they never forgot it, because the last time I saw one of them, he said, "I remember you. You're the one that." That was really embarrassing. But those costumes aren't really made for curvy girls, and so even though my mom always had to make costumes larger for me because of all the curves that I have, they're still not really designed to hold everything in. So yeah, that was definitely a learning moment for me, but it's very embarrassing. So that is it for our Q&A. If you have any questions that you would like to know about either one of us or the both of us, go ahead and let us know down in the comments. And we will either answer it in a future video, or we're planning on doing a live video soon. So we will maybe answer them then too. And I know this is not something that Brad's interested in, so I'll go ahead and show what's in the giveaway and talk to you about how you can enter. And you don't have to stick around for that part.
Okay. Social distance fist bump.
Bye. I'm going to turn you this way so that you can see Martin while I do this. Okay, so most of what's in here is stuff from the Dollar Tree, but I also added some other things as well. So I've got some cupcake stickers. You're fine. I've got some Lisa Frank stickers. I just love these and I think they're so fun. There's, quite a few pages in here of the Lisa Frank. 5 pages, yeah. I've got this phone stand. It's the exact one that I have. I just love it. I use it all the time. And I don't just use it for my phone. I also put recipes on it when I'm cooking. I just think it's wonderful. It's easy to take with you anywhere too because it's collapsible. So love that. My favorite lotion. I put this on my feet, my hands, my arms, and my legs before I go to bed at night. And I just think it's the best ever. So I wanted you guys to be able to try that. I've got this Spa Life Egg White Bedtime Sleeping Mask. This has 4 masks in it. I will tell you ahead of time, I bought this before I tried it, which I don't think I'll do again. Normally I'll try things first, but I did buy this before I tried it, and I had a little bit of a reaction to it. If you don't have sensitive skin, you might like it. A lot of people did, but if you have sensitive skin, you might not want to actually try this. But I'll put it in there just in case you want it or somebody you know wants it. That way we can, I don't want to just throw it away. I got one of these little keychain wallets, like a coin. Well, it says coin purse, but I use it as a wallet. I think that this is just wonderful to use. You can put keys on it if you want, or you can just keep it in your pocket. That's what I do when I use it. But I really love it. It's nice and compact, and it's easy to just put my ID and a few credit cards or debit cards in there. So I thought you might enjoy that. I got one of these jade facial rollers that they sell at the Dollar Tree. I love this. Every night before I go to bed, I'm using this. It just feels so good and refreshing. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And my favorite way of using it is if I put aloe vera gel, or if I've got like an aloe vera gel spray, or if I put some of the different serums or oils on my face and I use it, it just feels so good. I've got this Hard Candy Feeling Mauve palette. It's an eyeshadow palette. I will say these colors are gorgeous, but they don't go on as strong as they're not as pigmented, I guess, as some of the eyeshadows on the market. So if you are going to try this, you might want to put an eyeshadow primer on first. I found that if I do that, these work great, but if I don't, it's hard to see them. So just a little tip there before you use it. I've got this here. This is a Beauty for Real shadow stick set. It's got 2 different colors in there. I think they're beautiful colors. I'm just not a shadow stick person. That's the only reason that I didn't keep it for myself. Then we've got Be Your Incredible Nails ink nail polish, and the color is Primrose Walk. And I thought this was a gorgeous color, but I already have one that looks so similar. I didn't see a point in keeping it, so I decided to go ahead and give it to you. There is a Hanalei Papaya Face Mask. And then the last thing is a Huda Beauty, the Basic Bee Straight Edge Sponge Applicator for foundation. Yep, so that's everything for the giveaway. How to enter. All that you have to do is go on my Instagram page. I'll put my handle right here, but there's also, I'll put a link down in the description box. Also, if you go to the main page for this channel, there's a link for it there. So there's a bunch of different places you can go. I will put a picture of the items in this giveaway on there, and just go ahead and respond with your favorite fruit emoji, and that's how you enter. What I'm going to do is write everybody's names on a piece of paper, toss it in a hat, and I'll have Brad draw it, and that way, you know, I'll even do it on camera so you know it was done fair. And then that way on Instagram, I can go ahead and contact you to get your address to send you everything. I will go ahead and let you know who the winner of the giveaway is next Monday in the vlog video. But I didn't want to announce that this was a giveaway video because I've heard so many people on YouTube say that when they do that, a bunch of people who really have no interest in watching their videos suddenly subscribe, get, you know, and then once the winner is announced, if they won or they didn't win, then they unsubscribe and they're gone. I really wanted one of you girls that I consider my friends, that I've been chatting with back and forth for a while. I wanted one of you guys to win this. I didn't want it to be somebody who just wanted to get a free gift. I didn't think that'd be fair to you guys. So that's why there was no mention of this being a giveaway video before you started watching it. But on Wednesday, it's a little bit smaller of a giveaway. It's a book-inspired giveaway. And if you are a book lover, I think that you'll really like it. So be sure to tune in on Wednesday and watch the book review video. Also, tomorrow there is going to be a 90-Day Fiancé the Other Way video. And I will announce when the live video is going to be. It'll probably be Friday this week. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I'm so excited to have hit the 1,000 subscriber milestone and to be able to do my first giveaway. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I love you. Bye.